Hi, I'm Lisa Zembrodt, and I am joined by Tim Sowell from AVEVA. Welcome to Sofa Chats. So Tim, can you explain to me AVEVA's digital strategy and the Connect platform and how those come together to accelerate digital transformation?
So let's start with Connect. Okay, firstly, we're trying to drive an industry agnostic platform. Okay, so it really doesn't go AVEVA Connect, it doesn't go Schneider Connect, it is Connect, okay? For a reason, so we can take up data which may be coming from the AVEVA systems, but may be coming from other vendors, other systems, generically, and bring them up, and it can be applied without any of the AVEVA or Schneider software as well, okay? That's fundamentally, the goal of Connect is to be able to bring information up from an operational and industrial world, okay, which has its own challenges because data is not quite the same as the business world. Okay, so it's different in terms of volume, lateness, the way it comes in, the speed at which it does it, the integrity. So what we've done is we've built that to actually be able to connect and bring the data up. But data in the industrial world is a challenge because we have thousands on a plant of different silos, of systems being put in over the last 20 or 30 years. How do we bring that together? So Connect gives us the ability to bring it together, to bring it in context. So now a system coming from an historian, a system coming from an MES system, a system coming from an engineering system, a maintenance system, those can all now be in context of the particular asset or equipment or entity. And then we're able to visualize that. So now you can have one pane of glass into that system. That's what Connect starts to bring, is that holistic environment. What AVEVA's then doing is building a whole lot of enrichment modules based upon its 50 plus years of industrial experience around asset performance, asset conditions, production conditions, around energy, around carbon. Well, carbon's only been around for a little bit in terms of what we're doing, but we're now taking simulation, high fidelity modeling, AI for models in that area, and being able to apply it on top of your system. So if you're doing you're a multinational who's got maybe 100 to 200 plants, how do you do your sustainability benchmarking? Well, you need to bring it up, and I've got one customer with over 200 plants, which means around about 300 historians, multiple thousands of alarm systems. What we're going to be doing is bring all their data up and aligning it, and then allowing them to build their benchmarking for sustainability so that they can have a standard across all of their plants. And we can do regulatory reporting and all the rest of it, and we provide one lens. So now as my workforce changes, because they evolve, they move roles, if they know sustainability, they can look at through one lens each plant, and it's the same experience. You're not having to learn different experiences, and you're looking at different data coming together. So it's not about taking data and moving it to remote people, that's one, but it's also the different data being now in context.
Yeah, and one of the things that I'd like to pull out of that is the fact that we see people are in roles shorter and shorter tenures these days. And that's definitely a challenge when it comes to understanding what's happening at a facility or at a plant and ensuring the continuity of that information. And that sounds like that's one of the many challenges that Connect and AVEVA as part of that can overcome. What are some of the challenges that you're seeing that you're able to overcome as a result of this? And if there's anything else you want to add around that continuity?
Well, okay, so again, I found quite often I have to talk about what a digital twin is, because everybody has an interpretation. So again, you used a digital twin this morning, probably coming here, because going across Darling Harbour here, you've got a navigation, you probably had a Google Maps out, you're using it to guide you where to find coffee, so it's now clicking into it, where can I get a donut, etc. Where do I get that? Well, you're actually drawing data from the maps, geographical, maybe the weather, traffic if you're in traffic, as well as the information about the opening times and everything else of the coffee and the other pieces of their menus. That's multiple pieces of data in one experience. But what did you do? One, you were able to navigate it, so it was intuitive. You actually could interact with it. You didn't care where the data came from because it was in context of what you were doing, going to get a cup of coffee on the way to work. And then the second piece which came out of it was you trusted the information. And that's the critical word in our world. You need to trust. So as we go to that autonomous work teams, so the workspace and the work people are going to need to come autonomous, e.g. we've got to be able to deal with the changing workforce. Before COVID, we had a lot of people who would average tenureship was about 5 years. Now it's way about under 2 years. We're seeing this in countries like South Africa, China, but now it's in Australia. We're seeing it other places where, especially if you're under the 35, 40 period, you're actually very much moving between roles, maybe not companies, and so you're still an expert, but you may not have the intuitive knowledge of that plant or that system. Now I want to do my Google, but I want to do it into my plant and be able to navigate and look up something, and I won't know the instrumentation, I won't know the position, but I know that spray dryer got an energy. I want to look at it. I know how spray dryers work, but I'm from Sweden. I may not know that part in Wagga, down to Sydney, wherever it is. So now I'm able to provide that information. Even if I'm internationally, I can provide recommendations. So I'm an expert. I've suddenly while I'm an expert at spray dryers, I've now become an expert at your plant. I've enabled you through that digital. So we're allowing and building the knowledge into the system. And the key thing is, as those decisions are made, we're going to capture those decisions as best practices, so the next person that comes along doesn't even have to make those decisions are built up. So that knowledge is built into the digital twin. So the digital twin is continuously growing, not in just data, but in knowledge and expertise.
And are the AI models learning from that decision-making process as well?
And we're embedding AI in multiple ways, not just in the navigation and the humanization, which is what we're doing, but also in the way to navigate across it, but the way it can learn, and then keeping it within your digital twin, not exposing it to the outside world because it's your knowledge.
Yep. Now, Tim, I've got one last question for you now that I've got you under the hot lights. I'm just curious your view on the pace of change these days. Where might we see ourselves in just a few years' time, given how fast things seem to be innovating?
Well, it's changing really rapidly. But also the AI is changing, like we're going to agentic AI, we used to be Gen AI, where we're already releasing, you don't build a dashboard anymore, it will auto-generate it for you. Why should you build it? We should be able to build it on the models and those systems. That knowledge is coming in on the highest, but also we're allowing innovation. Suddenly the data and the information within a plant can be exposed to a whole lot more people, so they're innovating. So that's building on it. So the speed of change is dramatic, and it's going to just keep going, but it's going to cause leapfrogs. But it's also, we've got digital natives coming in who actually think that way. They expect it. They're brought up with that Google search, understand that inquisitive approach. They're applying that, and why can't they? That challenge, and as we go more to self AI, where they can build the agentic models and bring up those autonomous and the actions. The key thing is learning, having the citations and building up the trust. There's the biggest thing we're seeing with AI and all of the pieces in the industrial space is, do we trust the decisions getting made? So we've had to add a lot of information about how do we get to that decision? So you get the citation. So if you want to understand the decision process, it's built into the system to build up the confidence. Because until we get the trust, it's like autonomous cars. I don't know if you've ever got into autonomous cars. The first one I ever did, I got in, it was a number of years ago, and we were going around in the back seat in Stuttgart. It took a little bit of trust.
A lot of trust, I would say.
But yeah.
Well, it sounds like a really exciting time to be in this space. Thanks so much for your time, Tim. It was lovely chatting with you here on Sofa Chats.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.